Remember the times when you were totally obsessed with Nick Carter from the Backstreet Boys back in the day? This blonde, blue-eyed heartthrob had everyone swooning. But since then, a lot has gone down. Addiction, family drama, and even some pretty serious allegations. So, what's the latest on the heartthrob? Let's talk about what's really been going on with Nick Carter. Born in Jamestown, New York, Nick's family didn't follow the usual path. His parents, Jane and Robert, ran a bar called the Yankee Rebel, a place where things were always interesting. But at just 4 years old, Nick's family made a big move to Florida. They managed a retirement home near Tampa, and that's where Nick's journey began to take a dramatic turn. As one of 5 siblings, Leslie, Aaron, Angel, and Bobby Jean, Nick grew up in a big, often chaotic family. His mom spotted Nick's singing talent early, enrolling him in voice lessons when he was just 9 years old. By the time he was 10, Nick was already taking ballet, tap, and hip-hop classes. He performed in talent shows, commercials, and even at the Florida State Fair. He even landed a small role in Edward Scissorhands. Not a big part, but hey, he was there, sliding on a slip and slide. But the real turning point came when Nick had to make a big choice at the age of 13, the Mickey Mouse Club or a new boy band called the Backstreet Boys. Nick picked the Backstreet Boys, and that decision would change everything. By 1993, he was part of one of the biggest boy bands of all time. The world quickly learned who the Backstreet Boys were, and Nick became the youngest member. As the Backstreet Boys took the world by storm, Nick also decided to try his hand at a solo career after their tour ended, and the group decided to take a break. Nick quickly became a fixture in magazines, on the radio, and was even crowned the sexiest man in the world by Cosmo Girl, beating out Brad Pitt and Justin Timberlake. Things were looking good for Nick's solo career, but the Backstreet Boys soon called him back. Nick took a break from his solo work, dropping I'm Taking Off in 2011, but it was in 2014 that he found his rhythm again, teaming up with Jordan Knight from New Kids on the Block to form Nick and Knight. Nick also took a swing at acting, starring in the reality show House of Carters in 2006 with his siblings. Later, he tried his hand at directing, bringing together boy band stars for the zombie flick Dead 7. He even hit the TV stage again in 2015 on Dancing with the Stars, finishing in second place. In 2020, Nick made a memorable appearance on The Masked Singer as the Crocodile, where he finished third. Nick Carter really knows how to keep fans guessing, but life wasn't all smooth sailing for Nick. In 2022, he lost his brother Aaron, and that hit him hard. He channeled his grief into his music with his song.
Developing news tonight in Lancaster, where pop star Aaron Carter has died at the age of 34.
Hurts to Love You, serving as a tribute to Aaron. In 2023, Nick hit the road again with his Who I Am World Tour, showing the world that despite the struggles, he's still going strong. But like any other singer who is thrown into the life of fame at an early age, Nick Carter also went through his fair share of troubles, and they have been bad. The list of his legal troubles is almost as big as the list of his accomplishments. Here's all the times this guy made headlines. All the way back in 2002, Nick was arrested in Tampa, Florida on January 2nd after causing a ruckus at Pop City nightclub. Apparently, he got into a heated argument with a woman. After being told more than 10 times to get out, the cops had enough and cuffed him. He was charged with resisting an officer without violence. But Nick had a very different story to tell. In a statement, he claimed, "I truly believe my celebrity motivated the officer to arrest me." Fast forward to February, and after some serious legal wrangling, Nick's lawyer announced that prosecutors had dropped all charges against him. A plea deal was struck. Nick would pay a fine and do some community service. He even did more community service than required. In March 2005, Nick was once again arrested for drunk driving in Huntington Beach, California. According to Lieutenant Dave Bunetta, the officer who pulled Carter over had noticed some suspicious driving behavior. To make matters worse, Carter's car was impounded, and he was taken into custody for driving under the influence. Of course, the timing couldn't have been worse. This happened just days before the Backstreet Boys were set to kick off a North American tour. As for the legal side of things, Carter was charged with DUI and with having a blood alcohol content over the 0.08 limit. His publicist, Juliet Harris, quickly issued a statement stating he regrets the situation. After pleading guilty, he got 3 years of informal probation, a $1,200 fine, a 3-month alcohol awareness program, and restricted driving privileges for 90 days. Even in 2016, he got arrested for allegedly choking a bouncer, Skylar Carden, outside the Hog's Breath Saloon in Key West. Carter was apparently kicked out of the bar for being unruly, and things escalated quickly. Reports say he grabbed Carden by the neck and even hit him during the altercation. The cops showed up, and unsurprisingly, Carter appeared intoxicated. The incident was caught on surveillance footage, so there was no escaping the mess. By July, Carter reportedly settled with Carden for a six-figure sum and agreed to 25 hours of community service to make the charges go away. So far, one thing is for sure: he had trouble with alcohol. But did you know that the issue goes way deeper than you can imagine? In his memoir, Facing the Music and Living to Talk About It, he revealed that Nick's family legend was that when he was just 2 years old, he crawled into the liquor storage room and helped himself to a drink. His parents found it funny at the time, but Nick later realized that wasn't exactly something to laugh about. As he got older, the influence of alcohol became even more apparent. By the time he hit 10, he was already pretending to drink in family home movies. By the time he was 18, alcohol was no longer his only vice. He was doing hard drugs, marijuana, cocaine, ecstasy, and prescription painkillers. Despite warnings from his fellow Backstreet Boys, Nick kept pushing the limits. As his 20s rolled on, Nick's relationship with substances deepened. Ecstasy became his go-to, and he admits the time he spent using it was a massive regret. The effects started messing with his mind, leading to bouts of depression that would stick with him long after the drugs wore off. And if that wasn't enough, he'd often mix alcohol with prescription painkillers. The result was nights of blackouts and waking up not knowing how he even got home. The tipping point came when his body couldn't take it anymore. After one particularly heavy drinking session, Nick woke up feeling like he was on the brink. But even after he entered rehab, he left just as quickly, convinced he could handle it on his own. Spoiler alert, he couldn't. 6 months later, he was back at it, partying even harder. After another terrifying night of drinking and doing cocaine, he was 60 pounds overweight, had constant heart pain, and so he went to see a cardiologist. He was diagnosed with cardiomyopathy. So, did Nick finally listen? It took a few more wake-up calls, but eventually he did. But that's not all. Over the years, Nick has been accused by multiple women of horrible crimes. Nick Carter's life has been anything but easy, and his legal battles are proof of that. In 2006, a woman accused him and his friend of sexual assault at a party. The case was dropped when the victim chose not to press charges, and Carter didn't speak to investigators. But this was just the beginning. Fast forward to 2017, when Melissa Schumann, former member of the girl group Dream, accused Carter of SA in 2003. Although the case was too old for criminal charges, Schumann took her fight to court in 2023, suing Carter. In response, Carter countersued for $2.5 million, claiming it cost him millions in lost opportunities. Then in 2022, Shannon Ruth came forward with shocking allegations. She claimed Carter SA'd her on the Backstreet Boys tour bus in 2001, also accusing him of giving her alcohol and infecting her with HPV. Carter denied it, but the fallout was huge. Several of his projects got canceled, including a big holiday special. Not long after, in 2023, another woman filed a lawsuit claiming Carter drugged and SA'd her in 2003 when she was just 15. Carter didn't hold back, countersuing for defamation and seeking damages for the impact on his career. As if things couldn't get more intense, in 2024, another woman came forward with similar accusations, piling on more pressure. Through it all, Carter has been vocal about the emotional toll these accusations have taken on him, even leading to PTSD. Throughout this, he has been claiming that he's being wrongly accused. Nick's been pretty candid about his struggles, especially when it comes to alcohol. His younger siblings, Aaron, Bobby Jean, and Leslie Carter, all tragically lost their lives due to drug-related causes. Now, Nick's relationship with his brother Aaron has been, to put it mildly, complicated. For years, the brothers were publicly at odds. Nick, in an attempt to play the family hero, took on the roles of both fixer and financier for the family. Aaron, at just 16, had a very public fallout with their mother, accusing her of stealing $100,000. He even went as far as seeking legal emancipation. All of this drama laid the groundwork for what would later become a tumultuous period in their lives. In 2006, the Carter siblings starred in House of Carters, a reality show where they all lived under the same roof for the first time in years. Let's just say it didn't go as planned. Nick and Aaron got into a fistfight over something as simple as the music being too loud. Nick later described the show as a disastrous attempt to bring the family back together. His intentions were noble. He wanted to heal the rift, but it only served to show the family's dysfunction on national television. By 2012, Leslie Carter, struggling with depression and mental illness, passed away from an overdose at 25. This was when things really took a turn for the worse. Nick, who was in New York at the time, didn't attend her funeral. He later revealed in his memoir that some family members blamed him for Leslie's death. After Leslie's death, Aaron was reportedly lashing out at their mother, hitting her in one instance. A family friend described it as a turning point for both brothers. Despite these moments, Nick did manage to reconcile with Aaron in 2013, but it didn't last for long. In 2017, when their father, Robert, passed away, Aaron started posting strange Instagram live videos, loaded guns in front of the camera, and even spoke about Nick's sexual assault allegations. Nick and his sister Angel had no choice but to file a restraining order against him. In a statement, Nick explained that Aaron had threatened to kill his pregnant wife and unborn child, which was absolutely terrifying. Unexpectedly, Aaron passed away in 2022, and Nick honored him on stage with the Backstreet Boys. Then, just a year later, the tragedy continued. Bobby Jean Carter, another sibling, passed away at 41 on December 23, 2023. But life isn't blue and gray, and neither is Nick's career. In honor of his late brother, Aaron Carter, Nick and his sister Angel launched a donation fund benefiting On Our Sleeves, a children's mental health organization. The fund is to provide educational resources to break stigmas around child mental health and offer support to families in need. Nick also organized the Songs for Tomorrow benefit concert in 2023 alongside Angel Carter and Lance Bass to raise awareness and funds for On Our Sleeves. All ticket sales were donated to the cause. That's not all. Carter has supported the Cure for the Kids Foundation, a Nevada-based pediatric cancer treatment center. He even launched the Keep It Local campaign, which encourages donations to local children's health initiatives. This guy has had his fair share when it comes to raising awareness as well. In 2001, Nick Carter founded Nick Carter's Oceans campaign to raise awareness about ocean conservation. 6 years later, he was appointed as a United Nations Special Ambassador for the United Nations Environment Program, the Convention on Migratory Species, and the Whale and Dolphin Conservation Society. His work included lobbying for ocean preservation at Capitol Hill. Over the years, this guy has auctioned items and sold paintings to benefit St. Jude Children's Hospital and other charities. So you have to accept that where he has made mistakes, he's also been doing his part in society. As we wrap up, it's clear that Nick Carter is far from slowing down. With a net worth of around $35 million, he continues to thrive thanks to his successful career with the Backstreet Boys, solo music, and ongoing projects. In 2025, he's making waves with his new album Stages and the Who I Am tour, which is already off to a strong start. He's also still rocking the stage with the Backstreet Boys, keeping his music alive through live performances and royalties. Off stage, Nick is focused on his family with wife Lauren Kitt and their 3 children, while also advocating for mental health awareness. With all that on his plate, it looks like Nick's making 2025 one for the books.